Hi, everybody. This is day 1653, and we have, a l- we've, oh my gosh, it's breaking news. But let me make sure that I say everything right. 1653 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss for being a whistleblower, exposing um, absolutely a whole trafficking network. Whole trafficking network, and then a money laundering through LLCs. Okay, through LLCs, and it's a good day. And I was going to come on all kind of like happy and everything because uh, Pam Bondi is now our AG, is now our AG, Attorney General. And so let's get going, right? Let's get going. That's what I wanted to come on and say. This really the positive developments that are happening in our son's case, um, and of course with this whole switch of. Thank you so much, Martha, for coming on. I see you. I see you. Thank you so much for coming on, and sending your prayers and your love because it's working. Um, and got a little rattled coming on because we something has been exposed again, and I think that the people in El Paso are just going to. I mean, how rotten is this? How rotten is this breaking news? It's so rotten, right? It's so rotten. And this comes from an article, and I'm going to get to everything. There's so much breaking news, but this is so important because it has to do with the Walmart mass shooting, has to do with Patrick Crucius. And if you've been following, you know that we are in possession of audio recordings, lots of audio recordings, and some of those audio recordings are of Joe Spencer. And Joe Spencer is the defense attorney, the lead defense attorney, that has been collecting millions of dollars for what is it going on? It's going to go on 7 years, right? Um, 6 years, I guess. It's going to go 6 years. I mean, I'm trying to figure out when this case is going to go to trial. 7 years, because it is frozen right now, and they get to collect state and federal funds for this absolute, what do you call it? It's a setup. It's an absolute setup for personal gain. It was a political attack. It was a absolutely bloody attack on the people of El Paso. It was fear mongering. It was I. It was a divisive attack. Um, a social divisive attack. And this breaking news, which came out, believe it or not, July 29th, right when Richard was murdered, right? Right when Richard was murdered. Um, and we're going to piece all that together too. But when I looked at the date, July 29th, 2020, comes this story in what newspaper? What it comes in El Paso Matters. The very same journalist, the very same entity that has spread false stories about our son, who, just so terrible. They are so disgraced. They are so discredited, and they want taxpayer benefits, right? They want the 501c3. They're supposed to be neutral. They're supposed to not be biased. And here they come out with a story on the 29th of July 2020 about Patrick Crusius's brother dating a Latina lady, and that's important. That's important. It wouldn't be important to me that he's dating a lady. Fine. But it is important to uh, tell everyone that this is a Latina lady, okay? And of a high profiled individual in the, let me go to it. I want to say it right. Let me go to it. Let me bring it up because it's so important. And I posted it up. And I wrote the article. Here I am. Okay. Think about this, y'all. A high ranking position in El Paso's criminal justice system. A high, is that in the El Paso criminal law magistrate court? I don't know. A high ranking position in the El Paso criminal justice system. So Patrick Crusius's brother was dating the daughter of a high ranking individual that they don't name. Why not? This is very important in the El Paso criminal justice system. Who is that person? And this is a Latina lady. Okay, so the whole narrative is that Patrick Crusius came from Dallas, but really he was living in San Antonio, and that he was just this absolute white supremacist, right? And he came all the way, hours driving to El Paso to do El Paso harm in the worst way. And then we find out that that narrative, which is absolutely the worst type of narrative, so divisive, so untrue in this case, so untrue. But it didn't stop Ernest Christopher Grant from being the chosen media disseminator, the media star, the media sweetheart, where the media is just, oh yeah, we're going to let you tell this absolute lying bunch of baloney to about the Walmart mass shooting, about Patrick Crusius in our newspapers, and they spread it everywhere. And then he tells Loretta Lynn Hewitt, mitigating evidence. We haven't heard that mitigating evidence. And then we have this, that Patrick Crusius had definitely a connection in El Paso with the El Paso judicial system through his brother that was dating a Latina lady that their family absolutely displayed no such hatred or anything like that. It's just the lies are so egregious and hurtful. And it comes from El Paso, El Paso Matters, who has a duty to reveal all of this information, right? They have a duty. This is a huge conflict of interest. This is all evidence that the people of El Paso need to know. to get to the bottom. Who was really at the bottom of this? Well, we've connected the case to Richard's unit. We've connected the Walmart mass shooting case to Richard's unit on Fort Bliss. That means we've connected the military to the Walmart mass shooting to our military. And of course, we can't forget Glendon Oakley Jr., that beautiful young man with Richard. Two beautiful heroes. And I get all choked up when I think about it. Because, especially right now, because they attacked him, outright attacked him like a pack of dogs. They attacked him. And how do I know? Because we've been attacked. We've been attacked like this with these packs of dogs, these political attack dogs. And they did that to Glendon Oakley Jr. that night, the very night of the Walmart mass shooting. Here he was, so proud to be a soldier, so proud to be carrying a gun, to be able to help bring children out of the mall, expose to CNN, to Wolf Blitzer, that there was a group that looked like security guards with M4s, in the mall, and that shots were fired in the mall. And what do? They send their attack dogs. Who are they? Well, we know that there is an El Paso cartel, that there is a trafficking group. And we know that Richard's reports were exposing this very profitable criminal activity that was going on, that was absolutely tied to his unit. We know about the basement room. We know about the LLCs for the money laundering. Matter of fact, I was going to bring out another song to let everyone know things going on with drugs, with the monies, with dollars and pesos, with the LLC, with bags, with bullets, with guns, M4s, brown tip bullets, which are special forces bullets that with gun smiths that take off, that tamper with the serial numbers of these weapons. And now we find out that El Paso Matters, who, of course, they reported falsely on our son, so much so that we had to send them a cease and desist, which they evaded. And then they absolutely used Leilani Hart, the prime suspect in the case. Okay, so let me back up just a little bit. So Richard's reporting, and there are audits going on. You better believe it. There were audits going on in 2020 because President Trump was in the White House. And Richard was in communication with the White House. So there's audits going on. There is a whole criminal cabal. What did President Trump just do when he just entered in? He said that those Mexican cartels, that group there, is no difference. I'm going to declare them as the big T, the big T, the people that bring the worst kind of crime in. That's what I'm going to designate them as, because that puts them at a different legal situation, a national security threat. And what else am I going what am I going to do first? I'm going to declare an emergency at the border. He's talking about El Paso. El Paso. Because he knows in 2020, well, 2019, they were absolutely auditing. Why? Because Brigadier General David Stewart told us so. Told us to our faces. And they needed something to divert attention. And they collected tons of money for the victims, over $12 million. And where did that go? To the owners of El Paso Matters, El Paso Community Foundation. And what was Yvonne Rosales, the district attorney, who may just be the district attorney still, because she because it looks like James Montoya has a problem that he did not install properly. So Yvonne Rosales may be, and it looks like it, very likely, that she is still the duly elected district attorney because of the holdover clause in the Texas Constitution. She needs to get her heels out. She needs to get her heels out, put on her suit, and assert her position, her rights. Assert her rights. Absolutely get to the bottom of this. It is, and I'm so sorry I'm coming on so late again, but it has been absolutely a magnificent day. Breaking news, new leads, new insight, um, and also the ability, because of Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, the new Attorney General, hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, that we can now tell you about the LLCs. We can now tell you about the money laundering. We can tell you about the connections between all of these people. Uh, Very, very soon, very soon. But at least we can tell you that we have them. And now we have Patrick Crucius's brother dating a Hispanic young lady, the daughter of an important, a high-ranking official, a person, a father that holds a high-ranking position in El Paso's criminal judicial system, in the justice system. Are you? Uh, and then we have the audio recordings where Joe Spencer himself is saying, no, it is not possible. And El Paso Matters is holding back on this very, very important information. We have 2025 now. I mean, how long are they going to? This is so egregious of El Paso matters, and shows that they are up to no good, that they were protecting their interests, because when the Walmart mass shooting case happened and all that money came in, and El Paso Community Foundation was in possession of most of that money and was given entrusted in passing that to the victims of the Walmart shooting. And we need to know where that money went. We need to know where that money went. And that was being investigated by the Yvonne Rosales administration. That's why she needs to put on her heels and come back. She has work to do. She has her work to do. And the time is right. Well, it doesn't even matter if the time is right or not. She is, it looks like it, the duly elected district attorney for the 34th Judicial District for El Paso. She's the prosecutor. God works in amazing, mysterious ways. And she really needs to come forward and finish up that investigation about the fraudulent distribution of the Walmart mass shooting victims funds that were over $12 million. And then, of course, our son's case. And then, of course, the Walmart case. I don't even know how you can address. I need to wrap my head around this with what's going on. She would know better. She's a district attorney. And, we will continue. We will continue to investigate and bring forth leads so that we can get justice for our son, that we can get Leilani Hart absolutely arrested. And what this shows is that El Paso matters. Absolutely used a unreliable source to attack the whistleblower in our son's case, because our son's case is connected to the Walmart mass shooting case, because he was reporting on the very things they were trying to cover up, on the very things they were trying to divert the law enforcement community from. And then they started the smear campaign on Richard, and they conducted a smear campaign on the whistleblower in our son's case, Judge Roger Rodriguez, who identified Leilani Hart and CID Tavita Nusa as interfering and tampering with our son's investigation. You just, and where was the hit? Where was the political dogs, the attack dogs? El Paso matters. The very entity that did not do their duty as journalists to expose that Patrick Crucius's brother was dating a Latina lady whose father holds a high-ranking position in the El Paso criminal judicial justice system. El Paso's criminal justice system. Wowzer. And there's more, right? And there's more. Thank you. The prayers are working, because look at what we just, this was just by, continuing to investigate, to try to put together the pieces of the LLCs, of the connections of the people involved in the LLCs, that are involved in this criminal trafficking network with the Mexican cartel, who are now designated as T's, right? T organizations. I don't know if I can say it because I get shadow banned. The T organizations, the ones that want to do the most harm to the community. And Pam Bondi, she's, I can't even imagine. Just pray that, well, she has a big team. So it's going to move. Everything is moving so fast, moving very, very fast. I wanted to talk about this sovereign American sovereign fund, right? Um, Investment fund. It's like, wow, what a great idea to bring people together uh, to to bring that spirit of esprit de corps to our country, to make everyone proud to be Americans, that we're invested in our country. Of course, that would be so, it's such a great idea. So I hope it comes through. I wanted to talk about um, uh, absolutely Leilani Hart that needs to be arrested because she's a convicted criminal, because she absolutely confessed. She confessed. She's been identified. Um, she has a July 22nd, 2020 notarized confession. She has an October 16th. She no matter which way you look at it, because of dealing with the FBI and what she all did and all the felony crimes that she confesses to for her family, implicating her family, she needs to be arrested. She needs to be arrested. It's just, that's it. And then her ties to El Paso Matters, that's trying to, uh, because just recently a story came out again, like comparing Patrick Crucius, who has a severe mental health condition where he's banging his head on the sidewalk when he's 3 years old, where he is so inside focused. You know how the autistic people are. They're so inside focused that they don't look out. They don't look out. They're hitting themselves. He was busy hitting himself. And then we're supposed to believe now with his brother having this El Paso connection, having a connection to an very, should I say intimate? I don't know if they were intimate, very close relationship with a Latina. And you're supposed to, El Paso Matters is still putting forth the very false narrative, proven to be a false narrative, because we've released enough of the audio recordings that everyone knows that this is a false narrative. And then they freeze the case. You think it was because of us? I don't know. Maybe I think it might have been because of us and all of our reporting and all of our documentation and all of our filing. Maybe I should take some credit for it. We've been working very hard to stop these criminals, to stop these people with wicked intentions. And El Paso Matters seems to me that they have wicked intentions. Seems to me now more than ever, because they continued the false narrative when they knew they had very, very important conflicts of interest information, the connection to El Paso, the connection to the judicial system. Wow. So I am going to go and I posted up the article. I'm going to post it up a few more places. Um, and we are working, like I said, we're working behind the scenes quite a bit. We're working with, what can we tell you about the Santa Teresa International Jetport? What can we tell you about the pilots? What can we tell you about the LLCs? Without hurting the investigation, our son's investigation, right? What can we tell you more about Lalani Hart and um, her connections and the LLCs and of course, the Hearts LLCs, and the paper trail. Follow the money and the paper trail. What can we tell you about this money laundering business that absolutely, uh, exposes this criminal trafficking group that was so bold to do this on Fort Bliss? Do this on Fort Bliss. Infiltrate on Fort Bliss, conduct their criminal businesses on Fort Bliss. And yeah, so all of this USAID people screaming, about uh, USAID. And then, of course, the deportations. Look, there are so many human rights or civil rights that are being violated right there in El Paso with the uh, criminal law magistrate court. Uh, Civil rights are being violated all the time. If they're so concerned about civil rights, why don't they kick those individuals off the court and have elections and have elected judges according to the uh, Texas Constitution and honor the people's civil rights? But it's like they are just so political. It's like they're so blindsided by whatever political agenda that they have. And instead of just doing the right thing. So we hope that we can help um, bring justice into El Paso, which would bring prosperity. It would bring so much prosperity. Right now, they're just grinding El Pasoans and those that live in Juarez, Mexico, because it's Siamese sister cities, right? That they just grind them down into the ground. Juarez more so. There are so many killings over there. It's just astounding. It's so heartbreaking. So, and now they're starting to kill some of their military. I believe a military general was just killed over there on purpose. So we absolutely have to keep going and clean out the swamp or whatever you want to call it and hold these people to their duty, to their duty. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I think there's so much to talk about, but I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. And I just want to say thank you to God for Pam Bondi and Trump, President Trump, who is absolutely flying. He's just flying. He's so fast. He's just, he's just doing remarkable things. And yeah, it's just incredible, and it's very inspiring. and we're very ready, very ready. We've been ready for a long time to expose and get accountability for our son's murder and cover up and get his remains back home. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I'll be back tomorrow.